welcome to College Prep Radio, a content-rich segment designed to give parents expert college prep guidance and insight to support their teens in the college preparation process. Here's your host of College Prep Radio and College Success Coach, Ashley Hill.
Hello, everyone. I just want to first of all say Happy New Year. We've made it to 2013, all of us, and that's exciting just within itself. I just think of those who did not get a chance to see the new year. So I'm definitely thankful for that, and thankful for all of you that are listening in because you made it too. So, again, I just want to welcome you to College Prep Radio. My name is Ashley Hill. I'm so excited and really so humble and so grateful that you've tuned in today to the show. We have a very exciting show for you today. And also, I kind of just want to, this is the beginning of the year, and I just kind of want to share the vision again and kind of, where I see things, and also unveil our theme for you. And basically, I started this show and really College Prep Ready under my company ALH Group because I really had great support and resources around me as I was preparing for college. And, I started off, of course, I was maybe, 5 or 6. And my parents started talking about college and their expectations for me and my brothers. And, we started early in our home talking about the importance of an education and how that can open up so many opportunities, which I can attest to today. And parents, I'm sure you can as well. And so, after that, we progressed to going to college fairs. I was 13 years old. And my first college fair, I'll never forget that. And that was really a great moment for me. And I went every year after that. I changed my career a few times in between then, but that really helped me to see that college can be a reality for me, that I can get scholarship funding, that I, with the right pieces in place, that myself, I was able to, get through college successfully and graduate and finish 2 degree programs. And then, of course, I was able to help my younger brother as well. And what I'm referring to when I say this partnership is what I've coined the partnership model. And that's so important to me, and I use that in families that I work with today and just as I share resources through our website and just, at events and different things of that nature, is that, of course, you have the applicant, so parents, that's your teams. But, of course, parents, you're number 2. You're very, very important in this process, and I can't stress that enough. And you're going to hear me talk about this model all the time because I really believe that this has to be at the core, the foundation of the college prep process and the strategy for successfully getting into college and graduating successfully. There's 2 parts to that. We have a lot of students getting into college, but we need to have as many and above, graduating from college successfully into their, desired career fields. And just, being more developed people and they can make contributions, to our society. That's really all that encompasses, in that college experience, and that's why it's so valuable, is you're learning more than a skill set, but it's preparing for life. But the third partner in this is the educators. It has to be. It has to be your team's teachers and the psychologists and the therapists and the college coaches, the guidance counselors. All of those people encompass the educator portion of the partnership model. And the last part of the last partner in this 4-part model is the community. There are so many nonprofits and there's so many other organizations that they have scholarships available. They provide college fairs in the community. They have websites with campus tours information. There's just so many things that these organizations in your cities and in your states and neighborhoods that they provide. And I think it's so important that really, that we all get on board together. I'm doing my part, but parents, I need you to come in and step in and be fully engaged this year. And I want you to make that your goal for 2013. And sit down and talk to your teams, that, hey, we're going to be engaged this year. And, I get this question all the time, well, when do I start? And I like to say as soon as they're born. And, I get these faces like, well, what do you mean, Now, the thing is obviously you're not going to be discussing the SAT with your 4-year-old. However, you can start where they are on their level to help them prepare and develop academically, socially, and you can and teach those other skills that we're going to get into. I'm going to definitely get into more this year, and you'll see on our website and blog posts and different events that we have coming up, is that I am going to focus on those other skills, and that includes character, leadership skills. I did a whole show on leadership a few weeks ago. The importance of being a leader, what does that all encompass? Time management, managing your finances, all of those skills really need to be taught as early as possible on your child's level, so that when they get to high school, they've developed those healthy habits in those different areas, and they're not only prepared for the academic portion of college, because they will be challenged. Yes, they will, and that's the purpose of that. They will be challenged academically, but also that they can thrive socially, psychologically, and all the other areas, of their lives as well. That's really leading me into really the theme, or not so much even the theme, but the new model kind of that I'm taking on here for College Prep Ready, and that it's not just about education, it's a lifestyle. My goal is yes, I want every student I work with to get into college successfully, but I want them to be better people. I want them to be leaders and to develop character and to be able to manage organizations and groups and treat people right. That's really, that's kind of a byproduct, but that is equally as important, because parents, I can assure you that when your teens are being interviewed for college interviews and different scholarship boards, and if they have any opportunity, to have that one-on-one interaction where others can see them, where they're going to be evaluated, they're going to look for that. And if we look further, thinking forward, post-college, when they're applying for jobs, employers are now asking for that. They are asking, to give scenarios where they were helpful in the job place, where they had these different skills. Are they on time to work? And parents, I think the best thing to do, of course, I know parents want to resort to nagging and yelling and screaming and also some positive things as well, having an incentive program. But I really think one of the best ways is to model it. Be the example yourself, parents, this year. It's the start of a brand new year. And so, parents, I really want you to, to get in there, get really engaged with your teens and be the model for them. All these skills that I've mentioned, it's to model it for them. All right, so I've unveiled our motto. It's not just education, it's a lifestyle. I'm so excited about that. And we're going to be incorporating that, as you're going to see throughout this entire year, really and beyond, because that's really exactly what it is. Also, with the show, we've kind of switched things up a little bit, got some input from you guys, and I just want to say thank you so much for those who gave your suggestions and gave comments. It really, stimulated my mind, into thinking, how can we make this better, because this show is really all for you, parents. But before we get into our topic for tonight, I just want to give you a chance to call in. We welcome to have comments, questions. So feel free to call in at area code 347-857-4638. Again, that's area code 347-857-4638. But quickly, something that I do kind of behind the scenes is I love to research, and I have a science background, so it kind of makes sense. But I like to keep up with the latest news, the latest trends, especially in higher education, because, parents, this is affecting your teens. And so instead of having you, search through, all these resources, I'm going to bring it right here to you. And also, you're going to see more of it on our website and blog and if you attend our events as well. So I want to give a quick story that I saw. I was looking in Forbes magazines online, and just a few days ago, just yesterday, a story broke out that it was talking about, the housing and the stock market has crashed. Is higher education next? And that title kind of intrigued me, so I kind of scanned through, and it was what they're talking about really is the pricing and the business model of higher learning institutions. And parents, really, your student is a customer. That's really what it is. It is a business. And I saw one sentence that I wanted to point out. It was talking about, simply put, colleges are slowly pricing themselves out of existence. And, there's later on in the article, they're saying that the result is that the average college senior is carrying approximately $25,000 in student loans at graduation. And, as we all know, this debt can follow students around for years, and sometimes even into, their senior years. And that can total to, approximately $36 billion in loan debt held by people over 60 years old. That is shocking to me. On one hand, I'm not shocked, but I am, because you shouldn't have to worry about that at 60 years old and above. That definitely shouldn't be your concern about paying off student loans or your child's student loans. So that was kind of the news article there. And really, these are my thoughts. And I'm going to share more on an upcoming blog, is that parents, we have to really change. Parents and students heading to college, you have to really change how we're approaching financing college. College is not getting cheaper. So what does that mean? That means that that students and their parents need to strategize. They need a strategy. That's going to include scholarships, but not just randomly. I want you guys to check back in iTunes where we have all of our shows are archived. I did a show about scholarship strategies that we really don't talk about, and one I'm going to touch on just for a second here is that too many students don't have a strategy about searching because, as we know, it takes hours upon hours, which I recommend. I recommend you guys to set a number of hours per week to search, and parents encourage your students to do that. But if you do it effectively, you're not going to waste your time. And what I mean by that is I'm encouraging students to create a profile about themselves, their height, culture, anything like that, and look for scholarships in those areas first. So those are, I don't want to say guaranteed, but you know that you qualify. And then branch out, as you have time. So that's one strategy that I touched on, so definitely feel free to check out that show. It is archived with the rest of our shows. So this article just really confirmed for me that I need to touch more on this year and really help our parents and teens to understand, what really is all involved in financing college, because that is a major portion. Because I definitely don't want anyone, to have to pay student loans in their 60s, but as you can see, it is happening. It is a reality, but I want to help change that. So that's that little snippet for you. I will have the link up in our show description shortly here. So what I want to get into is don't start 2013 without this one college prep tip. Now, what am I talking about? There are a lot of college prep tips that I'm going to be giving you guys throughout the year, as I mentioned on our website and our social media accounts as well. But the number one tip that I don't want anyone to start their college prep process without is your mentality. I can't tell you how many times I've run into students and worked with students where it's hard for us to even start to see where we need to go because their mentality, their perspective about college and the college life and the college process is skewed. Now, some of that is understandable because they've never been to college, and that's kind of where I come in and I can help educate in that way. Some of it is that sometimes the parents have not been to college or they did not finish. So they went for a few years and, did not finish for various reasons. So they're, the parents, they're just giving, half information because they just don't know, the full picture sometimes. So that's some of the issue. And then the other issue is a lot of students are getting their information from media, their friends, their cousins, who may or may not have successfully graduated or even attended college. They're hearing it from just our society, celebrities, people that they look up to, influential people. And there's nothing wrong with, I'll say in general, it's just our society. It's just how things are. But I will say is we need to make sure, parents, you can do your part. This is a part of this partnership model. Parents, you can do your part in making sure that you are educating your students or making sure that they're around people who can educate them with the correct information. Because oftentimes, a lot of people are getting their opinion. For example, I heard somebody say, oh, college is nothing, and it's useless. Okay, well, maybe because that person didn't study. Maybe they didn't apply themselves. Maybe they got into trouble in college. So maybe that's why they're saying that. But that's not a fact. I don't even agree with that. I had a challenging but great experience when I went twice. So that's really what I want to touch on tonight is how are you seeing things? And this is my personal life model that I like to use is think it, see it, do it. Everything begins as a thought. The chair you sit in, the car you're driving, the TV you're watching, the cell phone you're speaking on, the clothes that you wear, everything begins as a thought. And that's where I like to start, is you have to think it first. Get it right in get your mentality right first so that you can see properly. And I don't just mean see with your physical vision. I mean that you can see forward to what is the big picture here. What am I working towards? And, sometimes because of our experiences, because of our just different things we've gone through or just examples that we've seen or what we've heard of others, whatever we're putting in, through our senses, sometimes we have on these rose-colored glasses. And some of the, I've heard some students say, oh, I can't go to college because my mother never went. My grandmother never went. Her mother never went. So I guess I'm not destined to go to college. I've heard that. and it goes on, and the list goes on and on, but after you can, like I say, get your mentality right, then your vision, you can have the right vision about it, you can see it properly, and then you're going to do it. Thoughts will become your actions. Whatever you're pondering over and thinking about, you have to have thought it before you can do it. It's just the laws of nature. It's how we're designed. It's how it works. And so instead of just wallowing and kind of being in a hopeless situation, I want to come in, and I work with students and help them to shift their mentality first. Help them to reconstruct their mentality, and it works best when the parents are on board. Because sometimes, it's revealed that the parents have a certain, as I mentioned, if they didn't finish or they had a negative experience associated with college, and sometimes they're unknowingly passing that on when they say kind of off comments or when they don't, Now, obviously, if you're working, or other things are going on, I can understand. But if parents who are not being engaged are not asking kids how their homework is going, they're not checking up when their grades are starting to fall, they're not, engaging in local college prep activities, when they're not supporting, other activities and taking their kids there and being engaged and asking questions, you're not really, parents, you're kind of doing your teens a disservice. And, what I say for this is every parent is different, every situation is different, and I am totally understanding of that. But parents, this year I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to keep bringing this up, is throughout the year, I want to challenge you to start where you are and to see where you are in terms of your level of engagement. And particularly tonight, we're talking about mentality. How can you help your teens to make sure they have the right mentality? That may be to keep encouraging them. Like I mentioned, taking them to the events, maybe finding scholarships that you may come across or hear about at your workplace and passing the information along. That you have a positive mentality about college. Maybe parents that you go back to college. Who knows? But I want you to see how you can come into this partnership, because that's what it is. How you can come into this partnership with your team, and how you can encourage them, and particularly in the area of how their perspective is towards college. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, parents, you may be listening, and your teens may have a good mentality about college. They may say, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I have positive thoughts about it. I do have the right perspective." Well, parents, my advice for you, and if your teens are, in that population, is to continue it, because I can assure you, I've seen it over and over again. I went through it personally, saw my brother, different people. The process to prepare for college is long term. It's not a senior year thing in high school just to do. It's a process, as I mentioned earlier, to start as early as possible. And, at different stages, of your child's life, and as you get busier and get more activities involved, especially in high school, it's so easy to push those values and that process on the back burner. But parents, congratulations if your teens are there. Continue to push them. Say, hey, you did, you may be educated in this area, but how about this area? How about actually living on campus? Let's see if you have the right perspective about that. And obviously, parents, I want to encourage you. If you did not finish college, I'm still talking to you too, because as I mentioned, you can put them around people. For example, there are organizations like ours, like College Prep Ready. You can go online, read the blogs, educate yourselves first so that you can see how to help your team. There are other organizations in your community, parents. I promise you that. You can go to your child's school. You can inquire there. See what other activities are going on. Check out with the PTA. Perhaps talk to your team and see, what areas that they need, the gaps to be bridged in their understanding, and put them around successful college graduates. Parents, just because you didn't go doesn't mean that you don't have to be a partner, or that you can't be a partner in this model, in this process with your teams. You have just as a responsibility as parents who went, and as teens, as well, that you can definitely, as I mentioned, you can definitely help your teens by being a model for them and putting them around the right people. And that's really what I want to touch on tonight, and I kind of want to end that segment with the story. It actually happened while I was in college, but I was preparing, so I was graduating with my undergraduate at Kent State University in biology, and I, said, hey, I want to go to grad school. I want to further myself. I want to push myself. And I went and talked to my advisor, and he looked at me. He listened, asked for my stats, my numbers, GPA and test scores, GRE, what have you. And a few minutes later, he looked up, and he said, I don't think you can do it. He was like, your numbers don't look right. Your numbers don't look right. And at first, I was upset, like most people would be. And I kind of said, well, let me try to get a plan B. Then I said, wait a second. I remember what my parents instilled in me, and that is to not give up, and that if this is what I'm called to do, I'm going to do it. And I have to make a decision. I have to make sure my mentality is right. And parents, this, I'm going to tell you why, the real reason, in part with the story. This is why I'm sharing this, and this is why this tip is so important. It sounds very simple, but it's very important, because when your teens are going to college, when they get on campus, there are going to be so many things and people and situations vying for their attention. And it's so easy for their perspective to get off center. So easy. Somebody can say, hey, you don't need this. Hey, you'll never make this. You're in a relationship that passes abusive, or what have you. It's so easy to get off focus and not to complete the goal, which is to get a degree. And as I just shared, my own advisor told me, he didn't think I could get in. And that's his opinion, and that may be his professional opinion, but I know different. And as a testament of that, I did graduate last year with a master's. So you put your mind to it, you get the right vision, you can do it. That's why I say think it, see it, do it. And I want you parents to, to talk with your teens and be real with them, and if you've had these types of experiences, share it with them. And also, if they're not listening on tonight, have them to listen to the replay once this show is archived, a few minutes after the show. I don't mind sharing my story. And as I mentioned, it's because our, motto moving on for the company is that it's not just about education, it's a lifestyle. This is about the big picture here, not just getting through high school, not just not just doing well on the SAT, but the big picture is how are we going to create, how are we going to, create things and set things up in such a way that we're preparing students to be successful, not only in getting into college, but completing the degree? So that's a whole nother story, whole nother show right there. But it's very important. All right. Now I want to get into something exciting that we launched today, and it's called our 12 Days After New Year's event 2013. And this is a new event that I launched starting today. And basically, I picked the top 12 must-have college prep resources that I believe that every teen should have. So parents, I really need you to get involved, take advantage of these resources. We're going to be showcasing a different resource every day. And today we launched with Miss Tiffany, the Budgetnista, Elish. I hope I said that correctly. And she is a financial coach. She is now a blogger for the Huffington Post. I'm so glad to know her, and I really support her vision. And she's talking about finances, and I wanted to do a quick synopsis on this because it's very important. As we just talked about with the news article earlier, college is not getting any cheaper. The cost is only rising. But aside from financial aid, which is very important, it's really just personal finance. I think one of the best skills that a parent can teach and model for their kids is how to earn, keep, and manage money. That's so important. That includes investments, IRAs, Roth IRAs, working, saving money, all of that, budgeting. And parents, I find that it's easier for you to model that when you're doing that. So what a great way to get engaged in this way is that parents, you can start a budget. This is a brand start, this is a new start, of this year. And, you can start budgeting or, if there are areas where you need to improve in your finances, and then you can pass those lessons along and work alongside with your teens. Have them to budget. Parents, they don't need the latest Jordans every 2 weeks or what have you. They don't need the new iPad. But show them how to invest money in something that's going to last. I'm so glad that my parents really encouraged me to open up an investment account too. And I'm so glad that even today I'm still putting money in there, because I would rather invest $50 in my investment account than $50 on a pair of shoes. That's where the mentality needs to be. Parents, you can help out with that by, number one, not getting everything under the sun, and teaching your kids the value of the dollar, teaching them that. So it's on our blog, collegeprepready.com/WP. You can go straight on there. We are featuring Tiffany today, and her resource is the 1-week budget. It's a great book. I encourage you parents to get it as well. The links are there. Also, she has other programs, other services and resources that she does have through her website. All the links are there on our featured blog post today. So we're so excited to feature her today. And I want you to stay tuned for the next 12 days as we have more college prep resources. All right. I cannot believe that we're winding down our first show of the new year. So, again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and for your support. I'm so excited about this new year. We have a lot of things going on, a lot of great things happening, and I'm just so excited about that. And also, I just want to say real quickly, stay tuned. We will be making a special announcement this coming Friday. Since our show will not air until next week, I will be putting that information up on our social media accounts and website as well. By the way, if you want to connect with us on Facebook, that is Prep the number 4 college. Again, that's Prep the number 4 college. Also, we are on Twitter. I love tweeting you guys and answering your questions and helping you guys with your college prep questions. And that is Prep the word 4 FOR college. That's Prep the word 4 FOR college. And as I mentioned, we do have our website. That's collegeprepready, all one word, .com/W for water, P for Paul. Again, that's collegeprepready.com, all one word, /W for water, P for Paul. Also in there we do have our blog. We do have videos as well. We do have our free resources, so take advantage of that. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@collegeprepready.com. Again, that's info@collegeprepready.com. Also, parents, if you want to work one-on-one with me to get that strategy that I've been talking about, definitely feel free to check out our Student Executive Academy. We've launched that where you can work with me one-on-one throughout the year, and you can check out that information, and the application is on our website. Lastly, I want to end with this. One of my greatest achievements last year is I was able to publish a book called Celebrating the Journey, Rediscovering Me, and I'm so excited because I was able to share a part of my college experience, and I intend on doing more of that on the show, give you guys snippets. And by the way, the College Prep Ready book is available. You can purchase that on Amazon, but also you can click directly through our website on our online store there. But anyway, I want to share this quick thought. It goes with the mentality that we've been talking about tonight, is that in order to really have a solid perspective about, I'll say in this case, the college prep process and college life and what all that entails, you have to really be informed. And that means that there's certain information that you can listen to and certain information that you can't listen to. So be careful of what information you're accepting, because not all information is true, as we know. So I just want to encourage parents, you to share that with your kids, is to get the facts and then make a solid decision based on the facts. An informed decision is what that's called. So, again, thank you guys so much. It's been so much fun talking with you and sharing this information. And we will be back here again next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take care.